All right, y'all. Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's Michael Israel. You're watching Spiritual Combat. And we got a great show for you today. Um, and you could tell right there by the title, you know, that this is going to be a banger. Um, what I want to ask y'all to do is let me know how the audio is when some of y'all get in there. But yeah, it's going to be a good one today. What we're talking about today is fire is used to try gold. So fire tries gold, and adversity tries men or tests men. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. And there we go. So fire tries gold and adversity tests men. Adversity, with this analogy, adversity acts like the crucible burning away superficial weaknesses. Okay? And to reveal the genuine strength. When you go through a difficult situation, you have to really dig in deep and use all your resources to persevere through that situation, whatever it might be. I know some videos I'm going to be doing here soon are going to be on lust, on pornography addiction, on food addictions, you name it. We're going to really be going in. And, you have to go through these adversities to grow and to develop. Or said another way, another saying that y'all probably heard me say is you got to go through something to get to something. Okay? It doesn't just, a lot of people have this mindset that things should just come easy, and that's just not the way it works. I could tell you with our business, and it's something they say out there, you gotta it takes like 10 failed businesses to come up with a successful one or something to that extent. And that's true, because you got to figure out, a lot of times you got to figure out all the stuff that's not going to work. Now, it's a little different on the spiritual, because the word of Yah saves us some footsteps. It's a roadmap. It's a light unto our path if we're obedient to it. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big if, because a lot of people wrestle with it. But don't get it twisted. There's still intense heat that's going to purify you going through the process, standing up, being obedient to what the word says, learning how to properly implement it into these situations. That is still a thing. That still exists. You still got to, like I said, you got to go through something to get to something. So it's real. And in adversity, testing a man's character or a woman's character, in doing that, is what is the impurity? What would be symbolize the impurity? Or what does the impurity signify that would be in gold? It'd be your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and how strong they are. And do you give in to them? Or when you do give in to them, do you then give up? And are you discouraged? Are you easily discouraged? Or are you like, you know what? I'm a keep seeking the Father, and I know I fell on my face and gave into that, but I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep on. I'm gonna keep chipping away at this till it breaks. Okay. Let's see if I can find some. And I think about crucible. I know they have something in the military. I think it's in the army, and it's called the crucible, and it's like the last week or something like that, where they go on a long hike and all this stuff like that. And what are they doing? They're testing them. They're trying them. They're putting them through it. They're trying to weed out the people who don't really want it. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we got here. We're going to pull up, while I'm talking, I'm going to have some videos up of gold being tried. Okay? I know we watched one the other day, but when you take on this mindset of, hey, I'm gold, these adversities that are popping up in my life is gold being tried, you know, in the fire, and you take on that aspect of looking at things, okay, that, hey, these adversities, these difficulties, this is how we grow. I saw a video out there where a guy, somebody, he's talking about, hold on one second. I saw a video out there where a guy, he's talking about, you know, I prayed for strength and, you know, or I prayed for patience, and God sent me frustration, like a frustrating situation. He's like, I prayed for strength, and God sent me this problem. You know what I'm saying? So the way it works is, you know, the Most High sends you what you need to cultivate, you know, to cultivate you, you know. So just like it says in Sirach Ecclesiasticus, gold is tried in the fire. And the reason why I'm really pushing in on this is because you got to look at your shortcomings, where you're coming up short at. You have to look at that as you know, the growth opportunities. Hey, this is where I can grow at. You know what I mean? This area I need to grow in. Okay, and that's how you have to look at it. That's how you gotta look at a lot of challenges that might be in your life. And I see a lot of people don't look at it that way, that it's gonna cultivate different attributes that you need to grow in. In fact, I've seen people who've come to me and they were like, yeah, I've been trying to do this, and I've been trying to do this, and lo and behold, I look in their life and I see every opportunity for them to grow in these areas. You know what I mean? Is right there. The opportunities are there for them to grow, but, you know, it's like they're not capitalizing on it. And I'm gonna just adjust my screen so y'all can see this properly. And just so y'all know, what y'all watching is gold being tried in fire. That's what you're seeing here. Okay. That's what that video is. I'm just adjusting it so that y'all can see the video and me. So y'all give me a sec, and I will get it up there properly. Okay. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't doing it in that video. Let's see. Boring. Crucible. Okay, here's another one. Maybe this will be a better one. Okay. I don't know what he's showing fish and all that stuff. So let's see. There we go. But yeah, so you got to go through this process of going through the furnace of adversity. Um, it looks like he's trying gold in a potato. I don't know what the heck. Is he really? Yeah, he is. I didn't know you could do that. Learn something every day. But anyway, he's trying that gold in there, really heating it up. And like I said, that's the process of look, and there he goes, burning the impurities off. Wish I could find a better video, but look like he done burnt his hands a couple times too. But anyway, let me see. All right, there we go. But anyway, that's what those videos were of, and that's what it's about, is viewing the shortcomings that you have, areas where you're not right at, you realizing that is a crucible to purify you. And the problem is, if you're full of pride, if you you're gonna come up with a way of not facing the reality of yourself. Okay? And this is the meaty part of this topic that we're talking about here. If you were raised to where, or you went through trauma when you were young, and you went through things where what happens, they cause you to shut off to certain things, to anything uncomfortable. Okay, that's what trauma, one of the things trauma will cause you to do. Anything uncomfortable, it'll cause you to shut off to it somehow, some way. And again, it's a myriad of ways people shut off to facing themselves, facing the truth about themselves. A lot of what I run into is excuse making. That's like one of the major ones, and just blame shifting, manipulation, self manipulation, manipulating other people, whatever, to just avoid being transparent, really facing your shortcomings. And then when you get past that and you're able to face your shortcomings, you can categorize as, hey, it's time to grow. I'm going to grow. I'm going to develop. I'm not going to look the part. I'm going to be the part. It's like what Pastor was talking about yesterday. He made a good breakdown talking about the difference between the Holy Spirit and the religious spirit. Religious spirit is just trying to look the part so that it can feel like it's holy. Okay? The Holy Spirit is, when you're being led by that, you are sincerely trying to get yourself together. You know what I'm saying? You are, it's like, and you want it with your heart, mind, and soul. You want to be righteous, lined up with righteousness. You don't want to be tied up with dysfunction. Okay? So, Brother Enoch put the verse in there. And Brother Enoch, just paste the whole verse in there. Sirach chapter 2, verse 5. I think that's the verse I be. And Hebrews 3 also, if you want to just post it in there, I'll read it. But, yeah, it tells you in Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Um, I might have, not quoted right, but we're going to try to get that verse in there. And that's what it's about, man. I talk about this thing from different angles, and I've even done a whole series on this, really digging in deep on this topic. Let me see if I can find it. It's I think it's biblical self-development or something to that extent. I'm gonna go on my channel. Yeah. So it's two of them. It's let me see. I'll put it up here. It's two of them. It's the Journey Inwards. It's a series. Both of them are series. It's wow. It's the oh my goodness. Y'all give me a sec. Yep, this thing locked up. But anyway, one is called The Journey Inwards. It's a series, and the other one is called Biblical Self-Development. Okay, and that's a series also where we get granular, absolutely granular about looking at yourself, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, literally learning how to bring your thoughts into captivity and evaluate to see if they're in line with what the Word says, just like the Word says. Okay. So, Brother Enoch put the Bible verse in there. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So I did quote it right. And then, he put a verse from Jasher. It says, Abram was cast into the furnace of fire. He was saved by the power of Yah, and the fire had no power over him. And Aaron, the brother of Abram, was burnt in the fire, and he died. Okay? So, again, if you want to become the real you, you have to go through adversity. You have to face yourself. You have to pray to Yah, hey, show me more of myself. And when I pray that prayer, I even say, hey, Yah, but go easy on me. Don't make it all too hard and too intense, because sometimes it can be. But he won't put more on you than you can bear. But I just put that in the prayer too, because I know it's coming, and I know it. You got to have eyes to see and ears to hear and know. Remember, hey, I prayed about this. Now, look what's happening. Because one of the things I talk about is how the Most High communicates through circumstances. Hey, I prayed about this. Now I got adversity coming that I got to deal with and face, and utilize all my resources to figure out how I'm going to deal with it. Okay? So, this is the mindset that, we need to have when we're going through these situations. Instead of basically a weak, a cowardly mindset, a prideful mindset where, when the going gets tough, people get to hiding and running and blame shifting and everything else, instead of sitting in that adversity. And it can be difficult. You know what I mean? In fact, it'll be one of the most difficult looks you're probably gonna take. It's gonna be very humbling. It can be very humbling finding out you're not who you thought you were. It can be very a very difficult thing to come to the realization of. But humbling brings humiliation, and it it kills that pride. Okay, so let me see something here. Let's see. All right. So I was just checking something, a comment out somebody put up. But yeah. So this is what it's about, man. Men and women is fire tries gold, just like adversity tries men or tests men. And when you look at it from that biblical perspective, adversity takes on a whole nother look. And it develops, if you want to be a biblically masculine man, or if you want to be a biblically feminine woman, this is how you're going to do it. This is where it happens at. And how do you let that adversity try you and test you? Well, when it pops up, you do what the word says. You deal with it according to what the word says. Some of the major areas I see people struggle with, I was talking to our assembly about it yesterday, was open rebuke, being better than secret love. That's one area. Being obedient, carrying out instructions, and not letting everything else, any and everything else, because that's one of the things. There's being obedient to what's laid out, and then there's everything else. I can't even name all the stuff, all the other ways of being disobedient, because it's any and everything else but doing what's been asked with excellence to the utmost. You know what I mean? So that's another area where people can get in that furnace of adversity and really confront themselves and see themselves. And you just go on and on, but we got to examine ourselves to see if we be in the faith. We have to work our salvation out with fear and trembling. Okay? Focus on ourselves, because, really be locked in on a high level in doing that. But, that's basically what I wanted to bring out today. We're going to, like I said, we're setting the stage. We're going to really be digging in deep in a lot of heavy topics here in the coming days, weeks, and months. And we're going to, the boy must die so the man can live. We're going to really be, and the girl must die so the woman can live. We're going to really be pushing and creating an environment here for brothers and sisters to grow and to develop and to get out of stagnation. With that said, y'all, appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm Michael Israel. You are watching Spiritual Combat. And shalom, shalom.